A couple months ago, De'Aaron Fox and his agent Rich Paul were not happy with the direction that the Sacramento Kings were heading in. At the time, it made sense the Sacramento Kings were not playing up to their potential. DeMar DeRozan signing wasn't looking too good, and overall, they just did not look like contenders in the Western Conference. After that report, time passed. We didn't really get any too much De'Aaron Fox rumors or information until a couple days ago, though. Shams announced that the Sacramento Kings could potentially look to trade De'Aaron Fox ahead of the 2025 NBA trade deadline. All of this is stemming from the fact that De'Aaron Fox wants to win. He wants to be able to compete for championships year in and year out, and he just feels like the Sacramento Kings just aren't able to do that. I would say most of the time you have a young star player wanting to get moved, it's usually because that team isn't willing to pay him the max money that he wants. This is not the case for the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox is reportedly going to get one of the biggest contracts in NBA history this offseason, but instead of potentially taking that money, he wants to go to another place to potentially start winning. And honestly, with the way the NBA has been going the last couple of years, it's cool to see a player actually want to buy into winning and not just the money. In the report that De'Aaron Fox could potentially get moved before the deadline, it was said that one of his top destinations, or actually his top destination, was San Antonio to be paired up with Victor Wembanyama. While I think the Wemby and De'Aaron Fox connection could be really cool, there are a lot of teams in the NBA right now that could be willing to take on De'Aaron Fox, become the lead guard on their championship team. I just think it's really cool that star players are now willing to join the Spurs and play with Victor Wembanyama. He really has that pull. I want to preface everything I'm about to say about De'Aaron Fox's fit with these different teams by the fact that I don't think the Kings should trade De'Aaron Fox. I think they should continue to try to build a championship contending roster around him and then re-sign him during this offseason. But that's not the point of the video. Let's first look at what he's going to be able to do, or what the trade might look like with the San Antonio Spurs. I want to first look at a San Antonio Spurs De'Aaron Fox trade idea. I haven't seen this yet. This was released 2 days ago. Bleacher Report made one new trade idea for every single team. It's the Spurs getting De'Aaron Fox and the Kings receiving Chris Paul, Jeremy Shohan, Zach Collins, a top or a first round pick, top three protected from Atlanta in 2025 from the Spurs, and a 2025 top 10 protected pick from Chicago. Now, the first thing I want to say is I'm pretty surprised that Bleacher Report didn't have Stephon Castle in this deal because I was going to talk about his involvement. But the first round picks in this deal just don't really make sense to me. I understand the top three protected pick from Atlanta, the top 10 protected pick from Chicago, which I don't even know is it going to convey because we know Chicago's trying to sell as well. I don't think the Sacramento Kings want two first round picks. One of them might not even being a first round pick for De'Aaron Fox. Doesn't make sense to me. If before the trade deadline, De'Aaron Fox officially demands a trade to the San Antonio Spurs, if I'm the Sacramento Kings, I do not make a trade unless Stephon Castle is a part of that deal. I think most, if not all, people can agree so far this year, Stephon Castle has been the rookie of the year. He's been amazing as of recently. His 3-point shot has improved. He's great downhill. We know what he is as a player. And there's no way I walk out of that deal without getting one of the top young point guard prospects in the NBA. Because the Sacramento Kings are lacking some wing talent, whether that's off the bench or potentially even starting, I'd be interested to see if maybe Keldon Johnson was in this deal with Jeremy Shohan, those being the two building pieces, then adding some first round picks on top of that. But if I'm the Spurs, I hopefully look to keep Chris Paul. I definitely look to keep Stephon Castle. Then Shohan and Zach Collins or Shohan and Keldon Johnson can be the two guys that we let go. I don't really love this trade idea, but I think the Spurs De'Aaron Fox trade can potentially happen. I just do not think it'd be smart on the Kings' part if they don't end up getting the main guy, Stephon Castle. Next up here is going to be the Houston Rockets idea of getting De'Aaron Fox, which is the second team I want to talk about. It was the Rockets receiving De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Huerter in return for Fred VanVleet, Reed Shepard, and a 2028 first round pick, top three protected. I'm going to be honest, again, I don't love this return for De'Aaron Fox. I understand that we're also getting rid of Kevon Huerter, but Fred VanVleet, who is not going to be a part of our long-term plans, and basically two first-round picks. I'm considering Reed Shepard as a first-round pick because he hasn't really played this year. But Fred VanVleet and two first-round picks for De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Huerter? Really? Now VanVleet 100% has to be a part of this deal to make the money work. If I'm the Sacramento Kings, I'm starting with Fred VanVleet. I'm going to Reed Shepard, and then I'm potentially looking at maybe a Cam Whitmore. Probably not, but maybe a Jabari Smith to start and build our trade. I do think the Rockets should try as hard as they can to keep Cam Whitmore potentially or Jabari Smith. And I overall think the Rockets shouldn't make a deal at the trade deadline this big. I think if they want to add their next star, they should wait to see how they do in this year's playoffs and then adjust, make the deals in the offseason because we know there's going to be a lot more stars available. But this specific return right here for the Sacramento Kings, I hate it absolutely. Fred VanVleet, 2 first-round picks, that just does not get me excited. Next up is going to be the Magic fit, and before I talk about this trade, I want to say that De'Aaron Fox to the Magic is my single-handedly favorite fit for De'Aaron Fox at this year's trade deadline. The trade is going to be De'Aaron Fox to the Magic for John Isaac, Anthony Black, a 2026 unprotected first-round pick, a 2028 unprotected first-round pick, and a 2030 second-round pick. And I actually want to bounce back to the Houston Rockets trade real quick, just saying, I know I said adding potentially Cam Whitmore or Jabari Smith. Obviously, if that happens, you don't have to give up more than one first round pick, because that doesn't make any sense. Just so you guys didn't know, I was talking about Fred VanVleet, Reed Shepard, Cam Whitmore, and 2 first round picks. That's too much for De'Aaron Fox. Maybe one first round pick, or maybe even no first round picks on top of that, just so you guys get it clear. But going back to the Orlando Magic deal, I honestly don't hate it 100% for the Sacramento Kings. In my head, I thought they would have to take on the Cole Anthony contract as well to make the money work. But if it's really just John Isaac, Anthony Black, 2 firsts and a second, it's not terrible. Obviously, the main piece of part of this trade going to Sacramento is going to be Anthony Black. He's had a very solid second year this year. And I think that 2028 first round pick could potentially be something. We have no idea how the NBA is going to look like in 3 years. It changes every single year. If that 2028 first round pick is of high value, then that trade's going to look very good for the Sacramento Kings. I'm trying to think on the top of my head if there's another young player I'd want from Orlando to go to Sacramento. I don't know if they trade Tristan da Silva, Jet Howard potentially, if the Kings really want a project type of guy that could potentially be something in the future. Jet Howard can be somebody. But other than that, I think so far this has been probably my favorite return for De'Aaron Fox as both sides. Now, there's 2 more De'Aaron Fox deals in this article that I guess I'll gloss over real quick. I don't really think there's a chance he goes to these 2 teams, but starting with the Los Angeles Lakers, for some reason, Los Angeles Lakers are part of this, probably because Stephen A. Smith said that he wanted to see De'Aaron in LA. But it's going to be De'Aaron Fox to the Lakers for Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and 2 first-round picks, them both being top 5 protected. Immediately, if I'm the Sacramento Kings, I don't want any protections on these first-round picks. We're getting rid of our star cornerstone player. Why are we getting protected first-round picks back? I like Austin Reeves to them. Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent to make the money work, but 2 protected first-round picks? The main pick I do want is that 2031. For the Lakers side of things, I'm not going to lie, as a part-time Lakers fan, it intrigues me, but at the same time, we've kind of seen something similar to this before. I'm not saying to the same magnitude, but losing a couple of very solid role players for a star player has not worked for the Lakers before. Now, I know that was for Russell Westbrook. I know he was not good as a Laker, and I know De'Aaron Fox is probably going to be much different. But I feel like if you're going to be making a De'Aaron Fox trade, it needs to be a team that can consolidate some of their players, that have deep rosters and can get rid of some of their lower tier guys to get De'Aaron Fox and still be a high level, deep playoff team. For me, that was looking like to be the Spurs, could be the Magic, can for sure be the Houston Rockets. But teams like the Lakers, I don't really love getting rid of 3 rotational players to get De'Aaron Fox because that rotation is not looking amazing. But I think when you look at it at the end of the day, that's a trade you're gonna have to be willing to make because he's a young star. But yeah, just the package that I saw being received for De'Aaron Fox just made me think back to that moment. Obviously, it'd end up better, but I guess it could be kind of iffy. For the Sacramento Kings, Austin Reeves has been solid this year. I think he's averaging about 18 points, 6 assists. He's had his best year as a Laker. He's been amazing. Rui Hachimura doesn't excite me too much now that it's Gabe Vincent. I'm not gonna lie, if I'm the Sacramento Kings and this is sort of the deal I'm getting, I kind of want to get Dalton Connect. I think at that point it probably gets a bit too complicated because the Lakers do not want to move on from Don't Connect. But if I could see Austin Reeves connect Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and maybe one of those first round picks, I maybe don't hate it. Obviously, as the Kings, I want 2 first round picks, maybe one first, one swap, or one first, one protected pick. But I really want to get a young player in return if I'm trading De'Aaron Fox because this player talent that I'm getting in return right here in Hachimura and Gabe Vincent just doesn't make me excited. And the last destination that I don't really see happening, but for some reason is in this article, is the Miami Heat. I'm assuming because the Heat are here, it's going to have something to do with Bradley Beal, it's going to have something to do with Jimmy Butler. Let's see. Yep, it's a three-teamer, and Bradley Beal and Jimmy Butler are part of it. It's Miami Heat receiving De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, and a 2025 second round pick. Um, Guessing there's some swaps on it because it's via Denver or Philly from Phoenix. The Suns just get Jimmy Butler. They get their wish. Jimmy gets his wish going to Phoenix. And then Sacramento gets Bradley Beal, Jaime Jaquez, a 2027 first round pick. Um, I guess there's another swap on that one. A 2029 pick from Miami and a 2029 pick from Utah, Cleveland, Minnesota, or Phoenix. Starting with the main team, the Sacramento Kings here. For the Kings, honestly, I don't hate the return I'm getting for De'Aaron Fox here. It might be either the best or second best we've seen so far. Bradley Beal, Jaime Jaquez, the 2027 first round picks that the Suns got from Utah with all the swaps on it. It's not going to be that valuable. It'll be at the end of the first round. So 2027 late round pick, 2029 unprotected for Miami, and a 2029 another late round pick. I like the player return we see here with Bradley Beal and Jaime Jaquez because the Kings aren't trying to rebuild, they're trying to retool. And that 2029 first round pick from Miami could be pretty valuable. Those other first round picks will be late, but who knows what the NBA will look like in 5 years? That could be a very valuable first round pick. For the Miami Heat, they're getting De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Huerter for Jimmy Butler, Jaime Jaquez, and a 2029 first. Okay. Jaime Jaquez has not had a great second year. He was really good as a rookie. Obviously, we do know that his second year has been up and down, slow, been solid as of recently, but still trying to find his footing. I don't hate it for the Miami Heat because you are getting De'Aaron Fox in return to start becoming a championship caliber team with Tyler Hero, Bam, Khalil Ware, Jovic, all the guys they have over there. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think the Suns only having to give up two of those late round picks instead of three and just getting Butler in return, they win this trade. The Kings getting Bradley Beal, Jaquez, late first round picks, but that 2029 potentially early first round pick from Miami isn't a terrible return. And then the Heat getting Fox Herter, giving up Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal, or Jimmy Butler, Jaime Jaquez, and their 2029 pick is also not terrible. I think there's just too much in this trade where it feels like not everybody would agree to this, but from what I'm seeing right here, this is terrible. I've seen a lot of bad three-team trades from Bleacher Report, a lot of bad even two-team trades from Bleacher Report, but this honestly might be the best trade we've seen so far on this article. That's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed just looking at some De'Aaron Fox trade ideas, my personal opinions on De'Aaron Fox's trade. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. Go into the description to submit your video ideas. Comment what you think De'Aaron Fox should be traded for, what the return should be, where he should go. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.